6 cents, 9 minutes, 1 prompt. That is the entire cost of the landing page you are looking at on screen right now. 8 sections, images generated for it, and 0 warnings on validation. And the expensive model did not build this one. DeepSeek did. The model almost nobody reaches for when what they actually want is real, shippable quality. I have $5.93 sitting in my DeepSeek account, and the question for this video is simple. How much of that does a complete landing page actually cost? My guess going in was 20 minutes and a lot more money. So why DeepSeek? Because not everyone pays for Claude or ChatGPT, and I wanted the floor, not the ceiling. The only thing I set up before recording was the connection, design pages, then settings, then the MCP tab. You generate a token there. It works for Claude Desktop, but also for any client that speaks MCP. It is the most technical part of all this, and it deserves its own tutorial. Today we just use it. I already had opencode wired to DeepSeek. I open the terminal and switch it to plan mode. And I ask something deliberately vague. Can you connect to my site over MCP? No URL, no name, no help at all. This is the prompt, and DeepSeek itself wrote it for me earlier. A landing page for a fictional quantum computing company called Apexium. It is generic on purpose. I give it the headings, the footer, the color palette, and the sections it needs. No code and no mention of WordPress. And then I add one thing the prompt never mentions at all. Generate the images using PixelVault. Before I let it go, I start a stopwatch on screen. From here on, every number is measured, not estimated. While it works, watch where these pages actually land. The plugin uses its own post type called design pages, kept completely separate from your normal WordPress pages. From there, you can duplicate it, set it as the home page, export the JSON or the HTML, or convert it to a regular WordPress page. Here comes the first stumble. DeepSeek does not reason as sharply as Claude or ChatGPT, and it shows. It ignored the MCP completely. Instead of building inside WordPress, it started writing a loose HTML file on disk, with all the graphics hand-rolled in CSS. So I spell it out for it. Use the MCP connection with the NoLeemits AI Design plugin, and create the landing page inside WordPress itself. And I tell it that the same bridge also hands it PixelVault, which is the plugin that actually generates the images. Having this happen on camera is the best thing that could have happened, because this is how you really work with a low-cost model. You steer it. That detour cost 1 cent and produced nothing usable at all, one of the 6 cents we spend across this whole video. And I had 2 MCP connections configured and never mentioned it. My fault, not its fault. With that cleared up, it finds the plugin straight away and discovers there is a full image pipeline sitting inside it. And there is the tool list it gets back. Read the style guide and the design tokens, generate the images, create the page, and then validate it and publish it properly. I never dictated that order. It worked it out by reading what the plugin exposes over MCP. And to be fair to DeepSeek here, models like Claude or ChatGPT have vision, so they can look at what they build and correct themselves without being told. DeepSeek is flying completely blind. It never once sees the page. All it has is what the plugin hands back as text. First thing it does is go and read the design tokens that were already on the site from an earlier template. And this is what actually matters. It is reading them so it does not trample them. It will not break the page I already had live. Even a small, low-cost model, and that is exactly what keeps this whole thing so inexpensive, still stays careful with your global colors. Because that care does not come from the model. It comes from the plugin. It exposes the tools and it sets the limits. 6 items on the checklist, it is working through the 3rd, and the stopwatch reads 6.5 minutes. I am going to refresh the page with no idea at all what I will find. And remember, it is still working. And this is what exists at 6 minutes. I was about to say do not worry if it looks awful. It did not. While it works, I take the chance to check something important. The earlier page on this install, the one I built with ChatGPT, is completely untouched. That is a completely different model working on the same site. Them not colliding is not luck. That is the plugin refereeing. Validation clean, 8 sections, 0 warnings. It publishes, 9 minutes on the stopwatch and 4 cents in the terminal. I refresh, and this is what is there. And the obvious question is how long this would take you by hand in Elementor or Bricks. His estimate was 5 hours. That is his own guess, not a measurement, so please take it as exactly that. The scroll button works, the sections animate in as you reach them, and the icons are real SVG. And then the flaw shows up. This whole section shipped with no background at all, light text on white, unreadable. I am not hiding it because it is genuinely the useful part. I tell it in plain language, exactly as I would tell a person. This section looks unstyled, you missed the background color. But there is another way, and it is the one I like most, the comment system. You mark a section and leave a note, like in a document. Then you ask the AI to review the comments and apply them in a batch. And while I was talking, it had already fixed the background. Now the mobile view. And here there is a genuine problem. The header button is badly placed and it looks wrong. Now the semantics, which is where these tools usually fall apart. One H1 and an H2 after it. Correct. The image is WebP, the plugin generated it, and it carries genuinely descriptive alt text. The hero image carries loading eager and fetch priority high, which is exactly what you want on an image above the fold. And the second one is lazy, which is right for an image that far down. The AI did that itself. And the real question still stands, why would you ever sit down and edit this by hand when the whole thing cost you 4 cents? But if you want to, you can. Every section opens with editable fields, the text, the images, and the icons. And if you want to go deeper, there is an advanced mode with that section's HTML and CSS. And the JavaScript, if you need it, this is not a black box. Accessibility. I tab through the page and focus moves cleanly across the links and the buttons. With any other editor, you end up fixing that yourself. Here it ships that way, and it moves you toward WCAG and Ada. LastPass. The button text reads gray before the hover state, so there is not enough contrast. I say so, and it fixes it. If you have worked with AI before, you already know this runs on iterations. Nothing ever lands perfect on the first try. It took 3 or 4 rounds in total. And the whole thing, counting the cent I threw away at the start, came to 6 cents. For me, this is where building sites on WordPress is heading. I genuinely cannot think of anything simpler than this. And I am telling you this as a developer. Landing pages used to eat my whole week, and it was the part of the job that weighed on me most. Not anymore, and that is the real reason I am recording this. I want you to feel that relief too. The link to the plugin is in the description below. Try it and tell me which model you decided to put behind it.